Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your friend Sasha Patil, a Chopra certified meditation teacher. The first step to creating the life of your dreams is to create a clear and compelling vision for what you want for the future. I'll be guiding you on visualization meditation so you can get clear on your deepest desires. Let's get started so you can turn your vision into a reality. Hi, hello, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. It's your gal pal Sasha. And I wasn't planning on doing a solo in LA. I was planning on doing a solo in Coachella, which I did record. But to be honest with you, I recorded that early in the morning after no sleep, after being on substances, after a very emotional conversation. And there were stories I wanted to tell on that episode, and I don't know if I did it justice. So I might do a compilation bouncing back and forth between me telling the stories here and me actually talking about it at Coachella. I'm not really sure how I'm going to put it together and how I'm going to edit it yet. I've been in LA for a week now. I leave in 2 days, so I'll be here for 10 days. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I've been in a place since Florida where I could see myself here. I really like Southern California. I really like LA. I really like San Diego. I've been staying with a friend in Beverly Hills for the last week. He's got this gorgeous apartment. He's been in Paris, so I've been apartment sitting for him. Actually, a really close friend from summer camp, and not Tony Robbins summer camp. This is a close friend from tennis summer camp. I went to tennis summer camp every single summer from when I was 7 until I was like 17. And this is one of my friends from summer camp. So I've been staying with him, and he's been traveling, so I've been kind of apartment sitting for him, but he's coming back today, so I'll just be able to spend some time with him. And I've really been enjoying my time in LA. I didn't expect to really like it here so much, but I really do. And the weather is beautiful. The people are nice. I feel really connected to the culture. There's definitely a wellness culture here. There's a fashion culture here. There's a hustle culture here. And I'm really enjoying it. I could definitely see myself here for sure, but that's not for present Sasha to decide. That's for future Sasha to decide. I've really just been enjoying my time in LA. I've been working my ass off, and then I've been spending a lot of time by myself. I'm staying in Beverly Hills right now, so Friday I signed off of work and took my little gummy and just wandered around Beverly Hills all afternoon, went shopping, and I ordered Junior's cookies, not once, but twice. Been eating out a ton and buying really luxury coffees, mainly because I want to go work at coffee shops, but also because I want the caffeine. And so did that Friday, Saturday, got up, hung out. I've been going to yoga every single day. It's been awesome. Got up, went to yoga, hung out with a really close friend from Tony Robbins summer camp, went to a party. And everyone at this party was from, quote, the industry. And I was the only person at this party who wasn't trying to be an actor or a comedian or something. And it was really funny because they're like, some asshole guy was being so annoying. And he's, who's your rep? And I'm like, what's a rep? What are you talking about? So it was cool to kind of bounce back and jump into these lives and see how they are. And did that Saturday and Sunday, hung out, went to yoga, and then met up with my great aunt and my second cousin, who I haven't seen. And I've never met my second cousin, and met up with my great aunt, who I haven't seen in 13 years. Caught up with them, wandered around Santa Monica, and then came back, got more cookies, hung out, and I've been chilling out. I've been working and just enjoying my time in LA, walking around. I've really just been enjoying, wandering the streets of Beverly Hills and enjoying my time here. So it is the first place where I see myself. Will I come to Southern California after this year is over? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. After this, I go to Miami, and I'm a little nervous about going to Miami, truthfully, because the last time I was there was very, very emotional. I ended up seeing my ex, ended up realizing a lot of friends weren't friends, went to a life where not that I blew it up, which I know I've been saying online, but a life that I left. And I thought when I left that life, I was just leaving my relationship, but I didn't realize leaving the environment would also be leaving the relationships and leaving the community that I built. And I had to deal with the consequences of my actions. And I think it's I've wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I wanted to go and travel, but then I've also wanted to maintain community. And it's you can't really do both, and not in the same way that I had them before. I can't go and travel and then expect the community to be the same when I come back, you know? And that's been a really tough pill to swallow. And it's something I've been working on in therapy quite a lot. To paint the scene for you right now, I'm in Joshua Tree, about an hour outside of Coachella, 2 hours outside of LA, and I am at the Airbnb where our group is staying for Coachella. It's morning of day 3. Happy 420, everybody. It's a holiday. Maybe I should wake and bake. To be honest with you, my Coachella experience this time was not what I was expecting, and is actually pretty challenging to go through. But we'll get into that. I wanted to record this podcast because Coachella has always been something very magical to me and something that's always been very transformative. And I'm going to tell the full Coachella story. I've alluded to it in past conversations, both on this podcast, on other podcasts, where I talked about how going to Coachella for the first time was the best decision I ever made in my whole life. I fully cheated at Coachella. And I'm going to tell that story now. And then maybe I'll get into what's happening at this Coachella, which is a roller coaster of emotions. So let's go back to when I was 19 years old. I was in college, first year of college. I was dating my high school sweetheart. Let's call him the guitarist. We were together like 4.5 years or something crazy. And I remember at the time, it was late winter, early spring in my first year of college, and I was really going through it. I was working full time, going to school full time. I didn't mean to be working full time, but I was just in a job that like they happened to be understaffed, so they kept scheduling me, and I was working like crazy. I was just miserable. I wasn't happy in my relationship. I wasn't happy in my friendships. I wasn't happy at work. It's anything. And I was just miserable. And I'm a really big Lady Gaga fan. I have flown across the country for this woman. Well, not at this point, but I'm a big, big Lady Gaga fan. And this was the year that Beyonce was supposed to be on the lineup, but she got pregnant. So she dropped out last minute and Lady Gaga joined the lineup last minute. And I just remember hearing that news and everything in my body told me I had to go. It was probably one of the strongest senses of feeling my intuition that I've ever experienced. At the time, everyone was telling me not to go. My parents were telling me not to go. Like my job was telling me not to go. And I said, fuck it. I quit my job and I had enough money to go and fly across the country by myself at 19 to go to Coachella to see Lady Gaga. Coachella was something I always felt very, very called to. So I get to Coachella and I'm staying with a friend, and she was in high school, and I would just go into the festival by myself and I would hang out, and I was having the best time. Like I really was enjoying my time wandering around, really exploring music. And it was amazing. I remember on the first day, I was texting the guitarist and I was saying, oh my God, like I'm having the best time ever. I'm so excited to do this with you in the future. And he told me, and I will never forget this, I don't know if I'd ever want to go to Coachella. He said that to me. And I just remember going through the whole weekend because I made this decision based on my intuition and it felt so aligned. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be with someone who never wants to go to Coachella, or someone who never wants to have these adventures with me and go out and do all these things with me. I don't know if I want that in a relationship. The second day on Saturday, I was going to see Martin Garrix, and for me, the crowd is always very important. Where you are in the crowd, like you gotta be around people who are dancing, who are having the vibe, who have the good vibes, whatever. Of course. So I was in the crowd trying to find a good spot for Martin Garrix, and I meet this person. I say, hey, just like good energy. And he's, hey, and it's this guy, let's call him Coachella Boy. And I end up like dancing with him and his friends, and my friend was there, and I got on their shoulders for Martin Garrix, and we're just having the best time. And we end up like meeting up, going apart. Like they end up seeing Lady Gaga with us. He put me on his shoulders for Born This Way, which is like my favorite song. And it was amazing. And the next day we hung out again. We were hanging out all day, and long story short, we were at Marshmallow end of the night, and this guy kissed me. And I was in a relationship at the time, and I let it happen. And I
didn't go beyond making out with this guy, but I fully cheated at Coachella.
I cheated at Coachella. I cheated. And I knew it was time to end my relationship because I kissed this guy and I didn't even feel bad about it. Like, I didn't feel bad about it. I ended up telling my ex, the guitarist. I don't think he cared very much anyway. Things were at the end anyway with us, but I just didn't feel guilty about it. And that's how I knew it was time to end my relationship. So after Coachella, after I continued to talk to Coachella boy like every day. And after Coachella was over, I went back and I basically called it quits with my now high school sweetheart, which we reconnected recently. And he's the best person ever. I will love him forever. He's incredible. I'm so glad we've been able to reconnect after so many years and just to kind of catch him and be like, hey, how are you? Like, I'm always rooting for you, always in your corner. Like, and it's really cool to be like to chat with someone who knows you so well, who has known you so well in the past. And I'm really, really grateful that like our families are still close and he's an incredible, incredible soul. Just not my person, but like the most incredible person. And also incredible musician too. So I ended up having that whole situationship with Coachella boy for 6 months. That was like a whole thing in itself. And I ended up becoming very close friends with his best friend. We'll call him Dimples. And I ended up camping with Dimples and his whole group of friends the next year. So literally people I met at Coachella year 1, I ended up camping with Coachella year 2. And I maintained a friendship with Dimples up until recently where he like randomly fucking ghosted me, okay? We were super, super close. And then he texted me for Christmas and then stopped replying to texts, stopped replying to calls, didn't reply to voice messages. At one point, I was so concerned. This is years later, right? I'm so concerned that Dimples like got hurt or got into an accident or something happened that I literally texted Coachella boy recently. And I was like, hey, is Dimples okay? Because like he hasn't replied to anything in over a year. I'm like actually concerned. Is he okay? And Coachella boys, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, and they're childhood best friends. So I assume he's doing fine. I even texted him like on my way to Coachella year 3 and haven't heard from him. But that's the thing. You just have to be okay with being ghosted sometimes. It just makes me sad because we were really, really close friends and this ghosting, he was like the sweetest person in the entire planet. And this ghosting was truly out of nowhere. So I don't know what that's about. Regardless, it's not for me to know. But yeah, I basically going to Coachella for the first time made me realize that you attract what you are, not what you want. And, it's okay to leave relationships where it doesn't feel good anymore. And it's okay to change your mind and whatever, and just go with your intuition, right? I ended up leaving my relationship because I realized it wasn't right for me when I went to Coachella year 1. I go through my first big breakup, Coachella year 1, when I saw Lady Gaga for the first time. And the lineup for this year, I don't know if it came out right before my breakup or right after my breakup or something, but the lineup came out this year and Lady Gaga was on the lineup. And I was like, this is not a fucking coincidence. The fact that I went through my last big breakup at Coachella with Gaga on the lineup, and now Gaga's on the lineup again.
This year, I was in Solitude and I was going to go to Argentina. And you heard all about this on the Solitude episode. Dr. Leprechaun was like, I'm going to Coachella. And I was like, fuck, I have to go. Like I had this wave of heat through my body and I decided to go. So here we are now. Honestly, I expected this podcast to be more about my first Coachella story because that's honestly a great story. And I don't know why maybe I'm not doing the best job of telling it. Maybe I'll re-record this tomorrow. But today I'm like going through it. It's something I've shared. I believe I've shared publicly, like things with my situationship with Dr. Leprechaun are not so hot right now. We've taken a step back from talking, but I am here with him. And it's really tough because I'm like so in this emotionally. You have like hopes. You go into these things and you hope that you guys are going to have the best time and fall deeper for each other and whatever. And we're here. And I've just been feeling so rejected this whole time and so, I guess, unwanted. And I asked him, I was like, is this in my head or? And he couldn't say no. So there's that. Apparently some of the magic is gone with this whole like open situationship thing, which I guess is true. We're taking turns hurting each other. It's really painful. I've been feeling very rejected and unwanted for this whole duration of Coachella, and there have been times I've just gotten visceral jealousy over things that I thought were in my head, but apparently not. And I keep hanging out and I'm like, why am I hanging out and spending time where I'm not wanted? So I've been going out and venturing by myself, and it's something my therapist talked about before I got here. He's, well, make sure that you're doing what you want to do and you're not just going along with whatever the group wants to do because you're there with them. Make sure you're having your own experience and like doing what you want. And that's something I've been focusing on, but maybe a little too much. Like I've really been separating myself from the group quite a lot. And to be honest with you, a lot of that is because of pain. Like I'm removing myself because it's so painful to be in this situation. And so it's okay, I don't want to be a stick in the mud. I don't want to be a bad vibe. Like I don't want to bring the vibe of the group down. So I'll just remove myself and go out and have my own experience.
I fly into his friend's place, and he lands later that night, and just right off the bat, the first day, he's just not interested. He's not seeming to be into me really, not really starting any affection. I'm like, okay, like whatever. Didn't think much of it. And then he started getting like very physically affectionate and very handsy with his friend who's a girl, right? And like a lot, like very physically affectionate with his friend who's a girl. And I'm like, you're not showing me any sort of affection. I'm here with you. Like, we're in a situationship, and you're whatever, being very handsy with your friend. So the first day, we end up accidentally losing each other in the crowd. Like me and his friends, he ends up losing us in the crowd. Like we end up losing each other in the crowd. Complete honest mistake. It happens at Coachella all the time. And so we were looking for him, and I ended up, we like couldn't find him. We were just stopping. We stopped where we thought he was because he sent a picture. So we're like, okay, we'll go to the spot and see where we find him. And you know me, I'll make friends with anybody. So I started making friends with these people sitting at this place and make friends with them. And then this guy comes over to this friend group. We'll call him Mr. Harvard, okay? Mr. Harvard comes over, and I'm chatting with him and all his friends, and we end up going to see a show together. They come with us to Gaga. Mr. Harvard and I end up losing all of his friends because I feel like I can't make a move on you with all my friends around. They're like watching me. I was like, okay, cool. We have a little moment, Mr. Harvard and I. Next day, get up, and I've mentioned at this point that I'm really not thrilled with the fact that Dr. Leprechaun is super handsy with his friend who's a girl. Okay. I already mentioned this, and like it's still happening. And at this point, it's still happening. He picks a fight with us in the Uber about losing each other in the crowd, and it's like a whole thing. And regardless, it's like he thought we lost him, or we lost him. We thought that he lost us, and like it's a whole thing. And like we had different experiences, right? And like it all comes down to, it's Coachella. You lose people in the crowd. It happens. It was a complete accident on both sides. And it just heated. And at that day in Coachella, like they were still being all over each other, and I was getting really emotional. And I was like, you know what? It's my Coachella weekend too. I want to enjoy it. So I removed myself from the group and spent the day alone. I ended up running into them later and hanging out with them for a bit. And then Dr. Leprechaun and I ended up losing his friends accidentally. He and I were hanging out, and this is the part where I did something shitty, okay? I have to own up to it. I ended up losing him accidentally on purpose to hang out with Mr. Harvard. I think after 2 days of watching him be all over his friend, it was just like really painful for me. And I think we just took turns hurting each other, right? So took turns hurting each other and being toxic. And this was the toxic thing that I did, right? So I lost him accidentally on purpose and hung out with Mr. Harvard and whatever. I ended up going to the meeting spot after all the sets were over, where we all said we were going to meet at the end of the night. Our Airbnb's an hour away. I get to the meeting spot and I call Dr. Leprechaun. I'm like, hey, where are you? And we left. We called the Uber. It's going to be here in 20 minutes. What? You left without me? Like, yes, he assumed I was off with some random guy, but like at a music festival, you don't assume that. You assume she lost her phone died, she got drugged. Like you assume literally anything else. It's a safety issue, whatever. They left without me. After they got in the Uber, I ended up finding them. The Uber had to come get me, whatever.
I felt very abandoned. And yeah, I feel really rejected and abandoned and sad.
And that night, he and I sat up and talked about everything, and I could just tell he like wasn't into me anymore. And I said it. I was like, is this in my head, or are you not into this anymore? And he couldn't tell me straight up that he wasn't. So I was like, okay, let's call it. We're done. Like, It is what it is. And the crazy part about all of this ending is it wasn't about his and my connection. It was about the situation. I told him straight up I couldn't be in a relationship this year. We just took turns hurting each other. So one of us would do something and then the other one would feel hurt and rejected and push the other one away. And then the other one would feel hurt and rejected and push the other one away. And it became this endless cycle and it became toxic. And it's sad because it has nothing to do with my connection to him and it has nothing to do with us and like how we are attracted to one another and how well we work together. It literally is a situation, which really sucks. And if we're meant to be together in the future, we'll be together in the future. But for now, like, we both did really shitty things and it's the timing, it just isn't right. So we ended things and I told him and his friends, I was like, listen, if it gets to be too painful, I'm gonna dip and I'm gonna disappear. And they were still really handsy with each other and I disappeared. Like I just couldn't do it. And I disappeared on the last day of Coachella and it was 4:20 and I literally was going back to walk in literally lost them in the crowd because they were being handsy and I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. And I went and I sat in the shade and I happened to be sitting in the shade and I sat down at the same time as another girl and I turned to the girl and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a good cry right now. I hope you don't mind. She's like, no girl, do your thing. And I don't even know this girl's name. We didn't exchange contact information. We didn't exchange Instagrams, didn't exchange names, or I think we did exchange names, but I sat there and I cried to this girl for an hour. I bawled my eyes out about Dr. Leprechaun and about my ex and about going to Miami and about missing my life and about my friends who I thought were friends who were not and about just everything about like how difficult it is traveling full time and how hard it is like on the body and on the mind and everything I'm going through. And like I sat there and fucking bawled. I bawled my eyes out. And after crying to her for an hour, got up, kept walking, and there were just tears flowing out. And I was wearing my like Violette FR's You Paint, which is like a product for my 9 to 5. And that thing did not move once. Okay. Like I'm crying my eyes out and the paints did not move at all. Regardless, I sat and I think I cried. I sat down in the shade and I think I cried again for another hour or two, maybe. Like I just spent a lot of day 3 of Coachella crying and I would talk to random strangers about what I was going through and cry and like literally all day. I did that. We got into the festival at like 1 p.m., I think, or like 2. And from 2 to 6, I pretty much spent crying. Like things look glamorous online, guys, right? But in reality, it's not always like that. Like the music was amazing. People ask me like, how was Coachella? I was like, the music was incredible, but my experience was not. Also, I'm here by myself. Dr. Leprechaun has all of his friends. Like, they're all hanging out together. He has support. And I'm sitting here, okay, I have to disappear and remove myself from the situation because it is too painful. And I'm here alone. I have no close friends here. I'm by myself. And I don't mind being Coachella alone. I did it the first year by myself, but this was different. It was like a very, very painful experience. And to be alone for that and have no support and then to be around people who don't have my back, who are literally leaving the festival without me, who don't give a flying fuck about what's happening to me or if I'm okay. Like, they don't care. They're there to support their friend. Like, they don't give a fuck about me. So it was really isolating experience and I felt really left out the whole weekend. You know, how you go into a friend group and like they're making tons and tons and tons of inside jokes and not telling you what they're about and not really including you. I did not feel included in this and in that friend group. And it's a shame because like I can make friends with anybody. I can make friends with a wall. And when Dr. Leprechaun wasn't there, I really enjoyed hanging out with his friends. Like the 3 of us got on great. But when he was there, I felt very excluded and very left out. And yeah, that night we got back. He ended up staying up all night with his friends doing God knows what. And I went to sleep. Yeah, we called it, said it was over, drove back to LA, hung out, and he got on his flight, and I've been hanging out in LA since. So a lot happens at Coachella, right?
Guys, I don't mean for this to be the second emotional solitude podcast. I thought this was going to be a really fun one. This is real life, right? It's funny because I'm traveling around so much and everyone's, you're living the life, you're like doing your thing, it's amazing. And then they don't see this side. They don't see the side where it's, yeah, but this is really painful. Where it's, I wish I could go home. It's like moments like this where I'm like, wow, I wish I could just go home, but I have no home. It's moments like this where I wish I had close friends around to hug. And I'm not in that place. I feel very alone. And maybe it's all the substances, to be honest with you. Like, maybe it's all the substances. It's the drinking. It's the marijuana. And I can say that because I'm in California and it's 420 and it's legal here, but maybe it's all the substances for 3 days straight. That's getting to me, but I do feel very alone. And Coachella is such a beautiful thing, and like I am learning a lot through this experience. But honestly, I feel like a shit person. Like I was acting from a place of hurt people, and I was feeling hurt and rejected and alone, and I did something mean in return, ditched my situationship to go hang out with another person, and I feel really bad about it because I really do care about this thing, but at the same time, like, if someone's telling you that their feelings for you are diminishing and that it's not the same and the magic is gone, what are you supposed to do? Continue to hang out where you're not wanted? Or do you go and have your own experience, or do you just swallow it? I didn't want to be hanging out around them all day and just be miserable. I didn't want to do that. So that's why I just went by myself. But I also feel like a shit person. I feel like a shit friend. Like I was invited here by this group of people and I've barely hung out with them. I feel like a shit situationship. I was feeling really hurt, so I did a hurtful thing. And I feel really sad. Have I had a good experience? Yeah, in some ways I've had the most amazing experience, but in other ways I'm having a really hard time. This is not how I intended this podcast to go, truthfully, but it's turning more into therapy than it is story time. I'm really tired. I'm really tired of moving constantly. The partying is a lot and hard. It's fun, but it's difficult. The situationship is really painful. I feel we did this thing where we decided to not be in a relationship and we just keep taking turns hurting each other and poisoning the well. My therapist fucking warned me that this was gonna happen. And my best friend warned me that this was gonna happen. And I didn't listen. Not that I didn't listen, but I had to go through the experience, right? Man, oh man, it's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching to feel like you don't want to be, like you're not wanted somewhere. And then having to force yourself to be there to save face. This is a lot, guys. I feel so sad. Guys, I haven't even done any substances that like use all the serotonin. I haven't even done any of those. I feel really disappointed in myself for how I've been acting. I've been acting out of hurt, but that's the reality is I feel hurt. I really just want to go home. Happy 420, y'all. Not me crying on the fucking camera. I don't think I'm in the best spirits to be recording this right now, or maybe I'll do it while I'm fucking smoking or something because it's 420. But I did feel like I needed to talk.
Where I left you guys in that clip from Coachella is I literally that day and the day before, the whole weekend, I was going through a breakup with my situationship. So you literally caught me in the middle of it. It's now been a week since we've ended things, and I've been feeling okay. There haven't really been any like insane breakdowns since then. And it's funny, it's all my hookups and all my breakups happen at Coachella. Hookups and breakups at Coachella, a story by Sasha. That's what happened. Have I, Mr. Harvard wanted to fly me out to Austin to hang out with him, and I haven't heard from him since, but to be honest with you, like I plan on taking a little bit of a break from dating and hooking up in general. I think because there's a lot of stuff I need to work through internally before I'm ready to jump into everything. Like I went through my breakup with my ex and I stuck a Dr. Leprechaun shaped band-aid on top of it and it helped alleviate a lot of my pain, but it's not a way to heal to just throw a band-aid on top of something. So now that band-aid's been ripped off, I'm seeing that there's like a huge gaping wound and it's infected and it needs attention and love and care and some Neosporin, okay? So I'm planning on taking some time for myself alone and really healing through things. I had therapy today. I realize there's a pattern that keeps coming up of do I settle for any sort of ounce of affection rather than no affection? Like why it's like almost any little scraps of affection I can get is better than none. Or wanting to be around people who don't want to be around me, if that's romantic or friendships or family or whatever. Like why do I try hard with these friendships and relationships that these people have no interest in me? Like why am I doing that? I'm working on it with my therapist and it comes from some deep childhood stuff, but it's like I found that I've had a very difficult time being alone in general, and that comes from being an only child and like growing up in an environment that wasn't the most emotionally safe. And I wanted a sibling, I wanted a pet, and then I couldn't have those things. So I turned to friends and boyfriends and whatever. So I always needed people around to kind of like fill this void of being alone. I like wanted companionship. And I've thrown myself into that. So I'm taking some time now to be like, okay, who am I when I'm alone? Who am I when I'm by myself? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And just take some time to be alone and by myself and to really heal through this and be like, okay, I need to feel good within myself. I need to feel good within my own life and feel good with where I'm at before I can bring someone else in. And if I want to bring someone else in, it needs to be additive and not filling a void, right? Like I need to be so good with myself where I'm at with my life, my relationships, my friends, my career, my family. Like I just want to be good in general. And then if someone else comes along, I want it to be additive. I want it to be like filling a void and like being with someone just because I want to be with someone. I want to be with someone because it's right, not because I am settling for something. And not to say that I was settling with Dr. Leprechaun. I really do love this person, and if we end up together in the future, cool. But for now, like it's just not the healthiest thing. It was becoming very toxic, and I was acting in a situation in a way that I wasn't proud of. And I never want to do that. Like I never want to be in a situation where it's, yeah, I did a toxic, shitty thing. Like that's not who I am. And that's who I was becoming in that situation, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm just going to take some time for myself right now and really work on me, work on building my relationship with myself, working on building my life before adding any romantic interests into it all, because it's messy and it's complicated. It's not the best for me to base so much of my own worth off of other people's perception of me. And with strangers, I don't do that, but with close people, like close relationships, I do. With friendships, with romantic partners, with family, I do that. And I want to knock it the fuck off. So that's where I'm at right now. Things have been good since Coachella. I really expected to be more like dealing with the emotional breakdowns of this, but to be honest with you, like I haven't been. I've really just been enjoying my time in LA and really just enjoying being here and loving it. So no like breakdowns or anything, just like really enjoying my time, and I like it here. The next episode, I believe, is going to be my birthday episode, which might like fan my ego a little bit, but whatever, who cares? It's my birthday, so I don't give a fuck. My birthday is this coming weekend, and I'm really excited. I'm going to spend the whole month of May with loved ones, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be around, and I've been around loved ones this whole year. So far, I've officially been in transit 4 months. I've been with loved ones this whole year, but the loved ones I'm going to be with in May are different because they're like very, very close loved ones. Like my birthday, I'm spending with some of my best friends. I'm going to be in New York with a lot of my New York loved ones, my coworkers. I'm going to be visiting my family. I'm going to be going to a family wedding. Like I'm going to be around close loved ones. And I'm really excited to be like held and loved and supported by really close friends and family, because I've been alone a lot of the last month or two. And even before then, I'm like with loved ones, and there have been some really, really close ones that I've been around. But for the most part, it's like distant friends or new friends or like distant family. It hasn't been like people I'm really, really close to. So I'm really excited to just be like in the company of people I'm very, very close to. And then I'm going to be spending the summer in Europe. So I'm really excited. Anyway, we'll catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. Please follow, subscribe, leave a review, all of the good things. If you want to connect more, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Living Your Vision. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, create the life of your dreams, and we will see you next week.